Okay, so let's take a look at how you can set up Cassandra DB database on Google Cloud. So we'll be making use of Google Compute Engine and we will set up a VM, and on that we will be setting up Cassandra database. Now what we'll do is we will go to top navigation menu, then Compute Engine, and then VM instance. Now for this particular VM instance, I will be adding this new instance needs to be created with marketplace item, because by default you won't be able to set it up, right? So for Cassandra we will be choosing my marketplace option here, right? And it will open in a drawer like this. Then first thing we do is filter our pricing. Then next thing we will be doing is we will be searching with Cassandra as keyword. Select that and let's take a look at the result. Here you see Cassandra option has Google's own optimized Cassandra instance. Then there are two packages, one from DevNami, another is also DevNami but specific for Cassandra cluster. So let's go with something simple. So we pick Cassandra optimized by Google. So it will show you option like this. We will take a look at pricing, because as you can see pricing is expensive if we choose higher number of CPUs and memory, right? So 4 CPUs 32 GB memory would cost you a lot, around $800 or so. So that's something we don't want to do. We want to set this up on the most minimal amount of, right? So let's click launch, and then the configuration in our VM will change. Again we click on launch, then again that would change and it will check for API, right? Now here you see we get default deployment name Cassandra-1. We got the zone Asia this time, so that would add into cost as well. Then cluster we have is test cluster. We can change this, but let's go with that. There are 3 clusters, we need minimum 3. You will be seen that specify value between 1 to 30. We can go with just one, right? Now let's see, if we choose machine type we will be picking up V2 series because that's cost effective. Let's pick the most simple one. Here you see 1 shared core and 4 GB memory. There is also standard one, 2 CPU 8 GB, but all of that would add up a cost. So I will go with E2 medium. Let's see if that's going to work. So we'll be needing Debian as OS, then Cassandra as our database, OpenJDK because we need Java for this, right? So after that we will be choosing boot disk at least 20 GB, then persistent disk. Here you can see data disk size in GB. It will tell you that how much it needs, so we will go with something like 20 or so, right? So we have like 2 disks, one with standard persistent 20 GB, another is also 20 GB. So those are like 2 options. Currently we don't have any pricing related details here, so we will be trimming down to bare minimum. Considering we have master and slave node, each of them will be getting the IP. So 9042.7199 are HTTP ports and 7000 to 7001 HTTPS, and another one here for ICMP traffic as well, right? Now at the end there is also stack driver option. So let's assume that if you wish to monitor, then you will be enabling these stack driver options. Otherwise for test purpose I don't think it's necessary. We will be just testing out Cassandra, right? And once you go through all the options you can easily pick the option there, right? More things here is, right? So yeah, I will go with the default deployment name and zone as well. no need to change further. So we'll just deploy this so that it will give us the option to connect to, and it will also get into deployment manager, and one by one you will be able to see the options. So here you can see you will be able to use Cassandra after deployment is complete. Meanwhile, we can go into our virtual machine dashboard. So within top navigation menu, we can pick compute engine, and let's click on VM instance, and here we will be choosing option for our instance. Here as you can see it is listed. Now let's go back here, let's wait for it to completely deploy. Okay, we'll be accessing this through our SSH in browser, and then we will access SQL SH. We'll be checking the version, and that pretty much verifies our instance. If you want, we can also create one test database. In case of Cassandra, you would be starting with key space, then you create table out into that key space and then access things. So let's deploy this. Meanwhile, you can go through your instance here, and you will also see the status in both the pages, and here all the data related to your current instance will be listed here. This is one of the ways to connect to SSH. You can also use Cloud Shell, but I'll be sticking with this particular SSH option. Right, so it is taking a bit of time, so I will just hold on. Now you see the Cassandra is deployed. It is giving you the guidance on how to try to access it from your G-Cloud as well. So we'll try to copy this. Firewall rule is not enabled, so we will have to check again. Now meanwhile, here you see the status is still running. I don't know why. So let's refresh this. Hopefully it is settled by then. Now the thing is, we can access through SSH. So let's try and find that out. Here I just want to check out the status. Hopefully it is now runnable. If it's runnable, then we can open it in browser through SSH. Okay, so it's running. So we can go and click this particular SSH instance. Right. So let's click on this for opening on tab, right, and let it load the SSH in browser. It will show you the messages related to SSH keys to VM, and then it will grant the access to your current instance of Cassandra DB database, and hopefully that should work, because I hope that the SSH issues does not come into play here. Now okay, so we do manage to get the access. So let's type in SQL SH and hit enter. It should connect to Cassandra. You can see Cassandra 4.1, SQL spec 3.4.5. Now I can kind of make it full screen. Hopefully it is visible now. Right, now let's see if I want to create key space. So I will type in create key space and then give it name test. Let's use with replication, right, and equals to, I will try and use curly bracket, and within single quote I will use class. You can also go for lowercase and then use simple strategy within double quote, then comma, then within again single quote. You can go with replication underscore factor, right? You have to mention these two things, and you can give it a colon to give a value of 3, right? Then close the curly bracket and semicolon to hit enter, and you have replication factor 3 for key space. Test is higher than number of nodes, so we will change that to 1 because we don't have that many nodes. So yes, already exists. Test, okay, fine by me. Now let's try and select everything from key space on Cassandra. Select from, let's say, system underscore schema, right? And then we can use key spaces, right? So we can check whether we have key space, but we already verified that. So let's directly move to create table, name this demo, and then id integer primary key, and let's say age integer. Close this table and semicolon, hit enter. Okay, so no key space. Okay, we will have to also use key space. Use key space, right? And in that case, my test is my key space. Use test. Then I will try and run the above command. And now I will use select all from, and here I will be adding in not test but demo, and there you go. IDH is the table. I can add in the data and go like normal operation does, but my role was to show you the Cassandra DB installation on GCP, also verify the setup, and just give you the demo of creating your key space and table. So we are pretty much set with the flow of installation of Cassandra DB database on GCP.